Hello Night Vision Phantom. Having watched your video, I felt a video response was in order. You suggest in your video that the number of stars, planets and galaxies would indicate that if the universe was as old as scientists claim, that we would have been contacted by now. The age of the universe in no way makes it a given that we would be contacted by alien life, regardless of their advanced nature or technical ability, for the following reasons. First, size matters. To quote Douglas Adams, "Space is big. You just won't believe how vastly, hugely, mind-bogglingly big it is. I mean, you may think it's a long way down the road to the drugstore, but that's just peanuts to space." This is the first reason why we have likely had no visitors, aside from the conspiracy claims of X-Files fans, etc. Space is so massive and the distance between planetary systems so huge that we would have to travel at the speed of light. The universal speed limit means that just getting to our nearest neighbouring star, Proxima Centauri, would be an epic journey that takes 4.2 years at light speed. To get to something more useful, we need to travel at the speed of light for 10.5 years to get to the nearest planetary system outside of our own. And that has no life as far as we can tell. Certainly nothing like the likes of here on Earth. Of course, we can't get to light speed. We could get close, but not all the way to it. But couple that with the acceleration and deceleration times that would be required to carry this out safely, and the issues of navigation at such speed, it's unlikely that we could realistically travel at even a significant fraction of that speed. Next, detection. I'll use an argument from the angle of us being the ones that are found, but the arguments apply either way around. Because space is so big and we occupy such a small area of it, we are very difficult to find. Imagine having a billion computer monitors in front of you and a single pixel is lit differently to the others, and you have to spot it while it's there. The chances of something looking in our direction is minuscule in the extreme. Given the fact that the most likely way that we would be detected would be through the detection of our radio signals, then we have only been visible for a very brief period of time, since around about 1870. That's 138 years at best. Now, given that radio signals can't exceed light speed, that means we have a maximum distance of 138 light years in which our feeble first signals will have travelled. The Milky Way is estimated to be 100,000 light years across, and only 1,000 light years deep. You can see that our radio signals have barely even begun to permeate even our own galaxy in its narrowest plane. So we're essentially invisible at this point to the entire universe in terms of telltale signs of life, other than that of the natural properties of the planet which may hint at our existence. Anyone just looking at us through a telescope is likely to be a very, very long way away, and because the light speed is finite, they will be seeing us as we were in the past. Given that life on this planet is in universal terms a relatively recent thing, we may well have been passed over before, or will be, by very distant life forms who are seeing this planet in its early state. Next, the needle in the haystack factor. Because we've been essentially quiet as a planet in terms of detectable signals that would explicitly indicate intelligent life, there are no reasons why anything would have been alerted to our presence by means of our activity. With the enormous expanse that is our universe, this problem is compounded. I shall assume here that folks have been speculating on some form of transportation that allows us to cross distances faster than light, by, for instance, using a wormhole or some sort of warp device, or equivalent, that would allow aliens to get to us in reasonable time. Well, fine, that would solve the distance issues, but how would they know to come here? Of all the billions of stars in this galaxy and all the billions of galaxies, coupled with our only recent transmitted signals, it's deeply unlikely that anything would know we existed. So they'd have to have accidentally come across us, and the chances of that happening randomly is near to as non-existent as makes no odds. To illustrate this, imagine a valley full to the brim with table salt and there being one grain of sugar in there, which you need to find by randomly selecting individual grains. True, we can to some extent guess where life will most likely be and narrow down the search, but due to the problem of detection means being subject to the speed of light, by the time we see them, they may already have gone. These points do not mean that intelligent extraterrestrial life does not exist, because given the vastness and diversity of the universe, the chances are that other life does exist. Faith has little to do with this conclusion, as we can observe other planets that may be viable for life, and there's no actual reason to believe our planet is entirely unique or as unusual as it may seem. My point here is that although I believe life, even intelligent life, may very well exist outside of our planet and solar system, it's not a given that even having billions of years that they would necessarily have found us. Life is an apparently rare thing, but we've been very fortunate in that things have gone our way long enough for us to get where we are, and the chances of us being here seem incredible when you try to calculate the event with the end result in mind. But we're here, and that's just because something had to happen and it turned out to result in what we have today. The ratio of lifeless planets to viable planets is high in favour of the dead ones, but even if 1 in a trillion was capable of life, then that would still be a lot of planets that would carry life. Where it's possible we could meet intelligent life from another world, I think it's so remote a chance that it'll never happen, because the universe is too big, and given the laws of nature, not least the speed of light, as I have described, we are isolated not just by space, but by time.